with reaction is Vice President-elect Governor Mike Pence. Governor, I thought you had a really great line. Well, it was a very classy line when you said, "That is what freedom sounds like." I love that. I thought it was a very classy response from you.
Thank you. Well, it's what I said to my daughter when we walked in, and you know, we wanted to go see Hamilton. It's an extraordinary production, and frankly, we really enjoyed being there. But walking in, we heard a number of people booing, then some people were cheering, and then there was more boos, more cheers. So I nudged my daughter when we got to our seats, and I said, "Remember, Charlotte, that's what freedom sounds like." And
that's a great line.
What I can tell you is that I'll leave to others whether it was appropriate for one of the actors to address me from the stage at the end. But what I want to assure everyone looking on is that as Donald Trump said the night he was elected as our next president, he is working every day to be president of all of the people of the United States of America. And to see him in this transition, to see the range of people of diverse backgrounds that he's bringing around him, to see the policy implementation, the video that was released today about day one executive orders that he's going to sign to implement that America First agenda, I can just tell you it's been truly inspiring to be sitting shoulder to shoulder with our president-elect, and I'm absolutely convinced that come January 20th, he's going to make America great again.
Governor, what do you make of some of the reactions? Look at college campuses. I mean, and even the protesting. You've been to Trump Tower in New York City. You know, cry rooms for college students being given cocoa, hot cocoa by their professors, and coloring books and Play-Doh and aromatherapy rooms. I mean, a part of me wants to laugh, but it's so pathetic to me. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I hadn't heard a lot of those things going on, Sean. But I'm
glad you're busy.
Yeah, we're working real hard on assembling a government around this great president-elect. But I would just tell you, look, I've been on the losing side of elections. I lost a couple of my own elections many years ago, and it's pretty tough. It's pretty disappointing. But to people who are feeling genuinely anxious about the future, I would just tell you, I wish they could be a fly on the wall in the room. Like we were up in New Jersey all weekend long as one impressive American after another came in, and to see the way our president-elect is asking the tough questions. He's driving forward. He's assembling a team around him. We've got a 100-day agenda to do exactly what you said in your monologue. The president-elect and I have already met with members of Congress, leaders in the Congress. He's already said, I want to repeal Obamacare right out of the gate, and I want us to go straight to work on replacing it with free market reforms. We're going to end illegal immigration, move legislation to accomplish that. We're going to reform taxes to jumpstart this economy. You're going to see this president-elect nominate strict constructionists to the Supreme Court, and we're going to carry those judicial nominations forward in the days ahead for all the levels of our court. One thing after another, repealing unconstitutional executive orders. It's going to be a very exciting time, and we're going to see a stronger America at home and abroad beginning on January 20th. I just know it with all my heart.
That was the agenda that got me to support Donald Trump and you in the campaign. That, to me, is the key, because I think if you do those things, those Americans in Wisconsin, I watch these people in Hollywood. I don't think they understand people in Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, the 95 million Americans out of the labor force that I talked about all last year. Right. Of that ambitious agenda, the only thing I heard that I'm a little bit hesitant about is, $1 trillion on infrastructure. And I know Washington doesn't manage money well. Where are you going to get the $1 trillion? We already have $20 trillion in debt. That worries me a little bit. How do you pay for that?
Well, first off, just remember, all through the campaign, our president-elect talked about the crumbling infrastructure and the comparison between many American airports and airports around the world, and the fact that we need to marshal the resources and the national will to build an infrastructure to support a growing economy. But there's a lot of ways to get to that $1 trillion. And I can tell you from our experience in the state of Indiana, utilizing public and private partnerships, utilizing bonding authority and enlisting private capital, there's ways that you can do this that are going to be fiscally responsible, but also give us the resources that we need to rebuild America. And but it's all part of an overall agenda that's about reviving our economy, rebuilding our military, reaffirming our commitment to the Constitution and the rule of law, ending illegal immigration.
He can do so much in 3 hours. The first 3 hours, he can undo more than 75% probably of Obama's agenda.
Well, that's right. Just a couple hours ago, your viewers know this, but a couple hours ago, the president-elect just released a video outlining a series of executive orders that'll begin to implement that Make America Great Again agenda, that America First agenda, literally on day one. And whether it's ethics reform or trade reform or economic reform, regulatory reform, people can check out that video tonight and see that what I'm seeing every day is America has elected in President-elect Donald Trump a CEO who has rolled his sleeves up, and he's driving this transition, driving the planning, laying out a 100-day agenda, a 200-day agenda that's going to make America great again.
Listen, it's going to be a dramatic shift. I think the key to the economy, my own opinion, is the 15% corporate rate, the repatriation of trillions, eliminating Obamacare, and energy independence. We can't be dependent, which is the lifeblood of our economy, on countries that hate us. Let me ask you this. He met with Governor Mitt Romney, a guy that called him a huckster, a fraud, a racist, all sorts of names during the campaign.
Right.
And all these reports that he would consider him for Secretary of State, that kind of shocks me, especially when you have somebody like Rudy Giuliani who's on standby.
Well, there's a number of people that he's considering for that role and for other very significant roles. And I think what the American people saw this weekend, and really since the election day, is a president-elect who is drawing Americans from diverse backgrounds around him. I will tell you that he and Governor Romney had a very cordial and a very substantive discussion.
Were you in the discussion?
And talked about foreign policy. You know, I was there for most of it. They did have some private time together.
Did they address the elephant in the room, which was how harsh Romney was to him in this election cycle?
Well, you know, honestly, I think these are two people, both of whom have run for president nationally. The president-elect obviously won the election. Governor Romney came up short in his effort. But, you know, I think they're two people that have both said some tough things along the way. But what I saw in that room was in President-elect Donald Trump and in the graciousness that Governor Romney brought was two men that are completely focused on the country, completely focused on what's in the best interest of the United States and America standing tall in the world and reviving our economy at home. And I was frankly very impressed with that discussion.
You see the attacks against Steve Bannon that have been debunked. They've attacked Senator Sessions. I know there's attacks against Rudy Giuliani because he did business with foreign countries. That was what his business was. Chuck Schumer talking about Supreme Court and all the things you'd expect. Would you want Mitch McConnell to use the nuclear option as Harry Reid did?
Well, I think you know, I would leave that to the leadership in the Senate. You know, I've met with the leadership of the House and Senate privately.
Of the Senate, right?
That's right. And,
you will be.
But I would leave that to the members of the Senate to determine what's appropriate. But I honestly believe that going forward, whether it's a Supreme Court appointment or more than one Supreme Court appointment, whether it's ending illegal immigration, whether it's repealing and replacing Obamacare or reducing taxes, rolling back regulations, I think the American people are about to see what it's like to have a president in the Oval Office who's going to take his case to the American people every day and marshal the support that saw him win that historic election. I mean, to see the way the president-elect won places like Michigan and Wisconsin and Pennsylvania and Florida so decisively, I mean, he truly has a mandate to lead this nation, and I think from day one you're going to see him take that case to the American people, and we're going to work directly with the Congress and drive forward an agenda that's going to revive our nation and strengthen America at home and abroad.
Governor, you were a big help in that. My hope is really simple. I want Americans to get their jobs back. I want America to prosper. I want our homeland protected, and I want America leading abroad. And not an easy task ahead of you. We wish you Godspeed. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you, Sean. Thanks so much for the opportunity to be on tonight, the American people can be confident come January 20th they are going to have a president who fights every day for those forgotten men and women, for all of the American people, and he's going to put America first.
I called it the forgotten man election. People weren't paying attention to it. Governor, good to see you. Vice President-elect Pence, thank you.